Good morning. What a beautiful, beautiful day in the neighborhood. I am Yolanda Hinton, and I am so glad to be here. It is Fun Friday, and I tell you what, the weather is hot, and I tell you, and humid here in the Hampton Roads area. I want to welcome Facebook Live, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Look, make sure you all like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. As a matter of fact, go over there to YouTube at Cristo Records One, Cristo Records One, and you can go to the newest platform over there, FYI Radio Show host Yolanda Hinton. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, follow me, and I promise I will follow you back. Look, we already got folks on and popping. We're going to shout you out a little bit in the show. But hold on, stay here. Tell your friends that we're on, and we're going to have a wonderful Fun Friday show. Look, I want to mention our sponsors real quick. Make sure you all go to www.bulvicacademy.com. That's BULVIC Academy.com. It's an anti-bullying initiative over there. We have blogs, we have books. We have games. We have a new event that's going to take place in October, Anti-Bullying Month, and so many other things that you all can enjoy over there on bulvicacademy.com. Don't forget our other sponsor, and that is Beard Gods, BEARDO. Beard Gods. Don't forget the GODZ. Beard Gods, BEARDGODZ. A lot of great things for your husband, for your boo, for your uncle, your cousin, whoever. Get over there and get some of those conditioners, those balms, those shampoos, those oils, you name it, it's over there, vitamins and all kind of things. And I tell you what, you'd have your significant other looking so good. Don't forget to tell them that Yolanda Hinton sent you over there, and you all check it out and support. Look, this is our FYI Fun Friday. And I'm so glad to be here. This is our FYI Friday Women's Issue segment. And I tell you what, we're going to be talking about our new series on self-care. I want to first introduce our new contributor. You know, I've been telling you all about her, and couldn't wait for her to be on with us. We have Miss Angela Simmons. I tell you what, a woman of faith, courage, and wisdom. She's with us today. Angela, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. Look, Angela, tell our audience, I've been telling them a little bit about you, but tell them some things about yourself, and then we're going to talk about a wonderful, wonderful subject that you and I both know about. So, Angela, tell them where you're from and some of the things that you do.
Well, good morning, audience. I am a native of North Carolina. I live in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I am a mother, I am a grandmother, and I am also a wife, which should have came first. I am married to Tracy Robeson. I have two beautiful daughters, Natasha Page and Brittany Robeson. I have two handsome grandsons named Cameron and Corbett. I am been in the food industry for over 30 years. I am a certified sous chef, but right now I'm in retirement. I love to cook. I love to decorate. I have a beautiful church family where my pastor is Pastor D.L. Wims, and Lady P from name of my church is One Accord. I just love people. I love life, and I'm just me. What you see is what you get.
But look, I knew you love people because when I first met you, Angela, I had just started the Young Women Achieving Success program, and I met you and some others from New Galilee, and you all just made sure you took care of us so well as we started that program. You know, you all supplied things that we needed and just treated us so well. I will never forget that. I can't say thank you enough for what you showed me as we worked together with that program. You even traveled with us one time to, do you remember when we went to Howard University on the college tour? You were with us, and we were girls. It's been a minute, but That was a really wonderful
Yes.
tour, and I was so thankful that you were there to support us. Thank you so
Yes.
much for all that you did for me as I started that program.
Well, I like to say thank you to you because you have, you really poured into those girls and you poured into Natasha and you was a great mentor to her. And I think you played a significant part in her life and she would not be where she is today if it wasn't for Miss Yolanda Hinton.
When we
So
went to Howard, she told the girls later on, I think when she came to speak to the girls one time, she was I think she had gotten her second degree. And she said when she went to Howard, that she was so inspired. She knew that college was going to be the place for her.
yes.
So glad that she was inspired by that college tour. And she has gone on to get, how many degrees does she have, Angela?
Actually, Natasha has 3 degrees. She's working on her doctorate degree, and I think she will be finished. I believe she told me of January, no, January of 2027. She should have a
Oh,
doctorate degree. Yep.
now, look, where in the world did she get that from? And I shouldn't even ask because you're educated as well, and she just went on. I mean, on fire, going toward her education. It was like
Yes.
nonstop.
Yes. Yes. I like, do you ever get sick of school? I said, when you gonna be done? And she just, like you say, she just keeps going. She just
Oh,
really
wow.
keeps going. She does. She really does.
Hey,
And
man,
I'm proud of her. I'm very
congratulations.
proud of her.
I
Yes.
tell you what, and we're proud of you. And look, you being a chef, I mean, I love the thought of cooking. I love to cook, and I said, "Oh, being a chef is actually going to the next level." You can do your homemade cooking at home, but you
Yeah.
actually studied the craft. I used to
Yeah.
see you on and just highlighting certain things that you all cooked. I believe, were you at ODU at the time?
Yes, I started out my cooking journey started at Piccadilly Cafeteria, believe it or not, in Greenbrier Mall. That's where it all started. Never didn't even know how to fry egg. But when I got at Piccadilly, I got under the leadership of a young lady by the name of June, and she kind of showed me the ins and the outs, and that's where it kind of all started. Worked at ODU for about 22 years. Then I went to CHKD, where I became a sous chef, working my way up to the executive chef. But then life just happened, and that just
Absolutely.
put things on a pause.
Absolutely. I see Cam is seem like he is going down that road of cooking. What things does he cook? Do you all cook together?
Well, I like for him. He likes to, believe it or not, Cameron likes to saute. He likes to fry. Those are his things. He don't do too much cutting. I don't let him do too much cutting, but he likes to get on the stove and saute the vegetables. He like to, dip and fry the pork chops or dip and fry the chicken. But he likes to bake. He really likes to bake. He likes to bake. I think he gets that from his other his grandmother Adrian, because she's a baker. So he loves to bake. He do.
That is marvelous. I tell you what, congratulations to all your accomplishment, the love that you invest in your family and the community. It is
Yes, yes,
absolutely
yes.
fabulous. So, Angela, we are here. You are our contributor now to FY Morning Show, and we'll be doing some after dark shows as well. But we collectively, Miss LaWanda, Fiona Huff, you and myself, talked about bringing the topic of self care to women and to our audience as a whole. When you think about self care, what's some of the things that come into your mind, Angela?
Well, to me, self-care, to me, it consists of 3 components for me. It consists of the mind, the body, and the soul. And I believe all these they work together for our good. When we do exactly what we're supposed to do, it helps our well-being. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's all about the mind, the body, and soul. And coming up as a young girl, I watched my mother and my grandmother, work until they were mentally, physically, and emotionally drained. And it's me as being a black woman, I've always been taught to take care of my home, take care of the family, take care of the community, take care of the workplace. I was always taught to be strong, just keep it together, even though I could be running on empty. But those are the things that I was taught coming up as a young woman.
Yes. Why do you think they work so hard? I mean, nonstop, just work, 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 work. Everything that had to be done, they did it.
I just believe that that's the way their mother taught them, that, as a woman, you take care of the home, you take care, basically you take care of the family, and I think that's just the way that they were taught. And I think it was just kind of like passed on to me, you got to take care of the family, but what do you do when, life throws you a curveball, and you find yourself knocked down? What do you do? You know,
Absolutely.
you know,
That's when you were talking about the physical, the mental and the spiritual. That's when the spiritual really kicks in. Your
yes.
faith plays a big role in your survival.
Yes, ma'am, it do. And I tell you, Miss Yolanda, if it wasn't for my faith, I don't think I would be here today. I had a very strong foundation. My grandmother Lucille, bless her soul, she brought us up, with the word of God. And, I can remember just always saying Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So when, life happens, you have to have a strong foundation, a strong spiritual foundation to stand on.
You do. You have to be able to tap into faith because, uh, when things happen in your life, you sometimes don't have anything that you could control except for your faith, your belief in God, that thing within you that says,
Hmm.
keep going, keep moving,
Yes.
keep trying,
Yes.
don't give
Yes.
up. Boy, but Angela, some folk don't believe that that's a part of self care. And it is definitely a part of self care is making sure that that spiritual side is taken care of.
For me, it's the only way because a lot of people don't know my story.
Yes.
Like I said, I was at the top of my career. I was on my way to be an executive chef. I finally achieved where I got my own desk, I got my own office, got my own computer. I'm telling people what to do or asking them what to do. So, and people are respecting me. They recognize me. They said, that's that girl, that girl. Oh, she can cook. She keeps things together. And then I'll never forget it. Back in November of 2023, November the 15th, I found myself laying flat on my back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything happened so fast.
Yes.
Within 30 minutes, I was paralyzed from my waist down.
Jesus. Mm-hmm.
It happened within, I say 15 to 30 minutes. So for 30 days, I laid in the hospital at Princess Anne Hospital, on my back,
Yes.
just looking up at the wall. And I had to constantly remind myself, who God had created me to be. And I
Yes.
had to remind myself that who I belong to. I said, God, I belong to you. So I
Yes.
had to, I had to constantly remind myself about that as I was laying in the hospital,
That
you know.
is marvelous that that kicked in so quick because, usually when we go through something and we go through something, fear sometimes is the first thing that jumps us and the unknown and things like that. But like you
But
said, go ahead, Angela.
Miss Yolanda, the whole time that I was in the hospital, I was never scared. I
Ooh,
mean, they did series of tests on me, and and they checked me for everything, and every test that came back, it came back negative. And I
gee,
remember my pastor coming in the room, Pastor D.L. Williams. He said, "You know what?" He said, "You got favor with God." He
mm,
said, "Don't you worry about nothing." He said, "You got favor, Robeson," because he called me Robeson. He said, "You got favor." And I just laid there while I was there. I meditated, and and now it's like my self-care is intentional. It's an intentional act. It's not
yes,
about luxury. It's not about being lazy. It's about making deliberately choices for myself, for my well-being. And not only is it intentional act, it is a strategic, it takes
yes,
strategic discipline. You know what I'm saying? A lot of
yes,
times I want to stay up at night and look at that movie, but I know that I need to get my 7 and 9 hours of sleep. So I had to
yes.
discipline myself. Sometimes I want to eat that big piece of chocolate cake, but then I say, no, you don't need the cake. Go to bed, do what you're supposed to do. And just, it's about being disciplined as well.
Absolutely. Give us a picture of the journey of getting back, once you stayed 30 days in the hospital, once you were out, did you, I know you said it's strategic, what some of the first things that you did in making sure, you kept yourself sound and things got done?
Well, excuse me. Well, first off, Miss Yolanda, when I first came home, I'm not bragging or boasting, but I'm a diva. I'm a diva. And I can remember my husband coming in the hospital, bringing me the makeup bag, bringing me the eyelashes. And I have a real good friend, Sonetta Lopez, and she was like, "Girl, do you want me to bring you a wig?" She said, "Cause and I can hear the girl come up here and give you some lashes and put your lashes on." But first of all, I looked at myself, because my body had been pretty much tore down. So I said, when I came home, I did PT therapy. So I had to learn how to dress myself laying down.
Wow.
I had to learn how to, roll around in a wheelchair. All this was new to me. Learning this, how to slide board, learning how to use the slide board, going from the car, from the wheelchair, from the stair lift, from the wheelchair. So it was a lot. It was just a whole lot. And and it's like my family. I had a very strong support system. That was one of the things that helped me. My two sisters, they came down. My mom, they came down every weekend. Every weekend. My sister, she would come in here. She would decorate it because she knows those are the things I like to do.
That's
Christmas,
right.
Thanksgiving. And she would come in. She was my older sister. I call her Martha Stewart. Because she can put my sister.
She can put it together.
She can put stuff together.
Yes.
And she would come in here and she would, to make me feel like that was still a part of me.
Absolutely.
What I couldn't do, they did for me.
Yes.
They did for me. So, it was an adjustment. And I laid and I said, you know what? This is not me. I got to get up. And a couple of times I fell in the floor, but I tell somebody today, you may be down, but you can get back up.
Ooh,
Get back up. So I a couple of times I fell in the floor. Me and Cam trying to get me up. He hollering for my husband, and I say, you know what, God, the righteous man fell 7 times, but he got back up.
Yes.
So I said, you know what, Lord, I'm gonna get back up. So it was just some adjustment. And right now I'm in PT therapy. So I'm learning how to walk again. I'm making baby steps. And I said, at first I would cry. I would get depressed. I would get angry. I would just get mad. But then I say, you know what? This is not the woman that God created me to be. And I had to get myself together. And that's what I did.
I
got myself.
And we see it too, as we see your journey and we see the faith and the courage. It is a marvelous thing to behold, Angela, because guess what? When we sit up here and we complain, but when we sit back and see somebody that is just holding on to faith and just showing us the way to do it, it's just marvelous. And that's what you have shown us through this journey. And I just praise God for you and the fact that you have, you have let yourself be seen in the most vulnerable. And but we also see you taking care of yourself. We see your support system, and you have just that mind to continue to go on. And it is a beautiful thing to behold. And your journey is just absolutely marvelous. That faith, that courage, and then wisdom to know how to take care of you. This is the thing. You say you're a diva, so you know how to take care of yourself. You know what you need. You know how to get it going. You still go to church. You still out. You still among the family. And these are things that are just really, really, it makes me just happy and smile when I see you.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it's so important, as our self-care, we have to have a strong support system, because I can't allow, negative behavior and negative talk around me. You know what I'm saying? I said, I have to have that peace in my life because I know that's a part of my healing and that's a part of my journey. Yes. So, I try to surround myself around positive people, and anything that's not positive, I kindly just dismiss myself. Because
Yes.
see, I can't be a part of that, you know.
Yes.
I can't be a part of that, you know. And I ponder one of my favorite scriptures is Isaiah 26:3. He will keep you in perfect peace
Mm,
if your mind is stayed upon him. So I say, you know,
absolutely.
Lord, in the midst of all of this, I have to have peace. I have to incline my ear to hear God, the voice of God, you know. And it's just
Yes.
it's been a journey, but it's been a good journey. You know,
Absolutely.
God knew that I needed to rest.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna tell you, when it happened, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on with my body. You know, I would work 14 hours sometimes a day, sometimes 15 hours a day. And I remember having leg pain, my legs hurting, but I'm just
Yes.
thinking, hey, that's just from standing on the floor. Not realizing that I had a blood clot in my leg that traveled to my spine that
Yes.
caused me to be paralyzed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now
So,
you, yeah, go ahead.
so go ahead, Miss Yolanda. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm saying now you recovered. What you say, you was on the grind, you was working hard. The Lord said, "Okay, let's settle you down." And I can imagine Him talking with you, speaking to you as your body is healing.
Yeah.
Just imparting things in your heart that He needs you to know now that He probably couldn't tell you too much as you were busy. You know how busy we get.
Yes. Yes.
We can get
Yes.
it.
And as women, I think as women, we need to just sometimes slow down.
Whew,
And
Jesus.
and see, sometimes God will sit you down. When you don't slow down, He's gonna sit you down. And I
Jesus.
think that's what God was doing in my life. He was sitting me down because I'm doing everything for everybody.
Whew,
Helping the doctor, helping my husband, helping this person, helping that person. In the
whew.
meantime, I'm not helping myself.
Yes. And that's
And
what we're
God was,
talking about. Yes.
yeah, God is like, it's time for you to sit down. So
Self
now
care.
it's self-care. So now it's like, I'm on different medications. Some of the medications make me gain weight. So now I'm kind of like watching what I eat. I'm exercising. I'm taking my medication on time. I've always been the type that, make sure I get my yearly mammogram, make sure I, get my pap smear. I always been that type,
Yes.
making sure I'm checking my blood pressure. But now I'm more intentional at doing things now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is a part of self care, like you said, the physical, the emotional, and mental, and also, the spiritual is definitely something that we have to pay attention to. Uh, you know, it's something I was thinking about, women as a whole. This is our women segment. And, sometimes we are not taking care of ourselves as we should. And that to me, when I think about self care, I think about self love. And
Oh yeah.
sometimes we have a problem with loving ourselves. Angela, as you talk to women, what things do you feel are lacking? Because some women, cannot get their esteem up. They just can't get it right. They just can't do it. What is going on in the lives of women that sometimes they just can't love themselves like they should?
Sometimes I feel that it can be from, past hurt, you know, past trauma, things that could have happened in their childhood,
Yes.
things that have been said to them, in the past,
Yes.
and the thing about it is, in order for you to love someone else, you have to love yourself. So
Woo.
what I do every day, I get in the mirror, I say, you know what, girl, I love you. I love you. I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I love you. In spite of the weight gain, I love you. In spite you're not able to work now, I love you. You see,
Yes.
we have to speak things over ourselves. Sometimes you
Absolutely.
got to encourage yourself. When you ain't got nobody else around, you got to encourage yourself. So as women, I would say, encourage yourself. Get you a good prayer partner. Get you somebody that you can talk to, you
Yeah.
know? So I think, a lot of times it can be from like things that happen in your childhood. Someone may have said, oh, you're fat. So in your
Yes.
mind, this thing has stayed with you
Absolutely.
because, I'm fat. I'm looking in the mirror. I can be no bigger than a screen bean, a green bean. My grandma
Yes.
used to say screen beans, but they're green beans. And you looking in the mirror and you thinking that you're fat, and you're not fat. But because
Yes.
that thing has been spoken to you, you
Yes.
believe that, you
And it's
believe
so
that,
easy. Yes.
it ain't easy, because life and death is in the power of the tongue.
It's fun.
So we have to speak things over ourselves.
Mm.
You got to say, I am beautiful. I am marvelous. I am loved. You
Yes.
know? So
That
as
is
women, begin to speak things over yourself. Don't try to get validation from a man.
yes.
If you want to get validation from God, because he's your
Absolutely.
father. He's your father.
Absolutely. Self-talk, that's the thing. We're in the mirror and we don't like what we see. And then we are comparing ourselves to others and we're criticizing ourselves. We don't see the beauty in us. And then, like you said, we go by past trauma, past hurt, past experiences, hard knocks. And we just sometimes can't get it right. But like you said, self care and self love go hand in hand. We've got to learn how to love ourselves. We've got to say the right things to ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. Talk about
Oh,
that,
Lord.
Angela. Forgiveness, because I tell you what, sometimes we can do things, and I tell you, hold on to it 100 years. God has forgiven us. We can't seem to get it together as far as forgiveness for ourselves.
Yeah, a lot of times, and like you said, forgiveness, that's a hard thing. That is a hard thing to do, because I mean, at first when this happened, I was angry. I
Mhm.
was mad.
Mhm.
I was mad at the workplace. Got mad at my husband, got mad at my daughter. I was just mad. And I said some things, to
Yes.
them, and some things were said to me that I didn't like. But you know what I said? I can't stop my blessing. So,
Yeah.
in order for God to forgive me, then I have to forgive them.
Yes.
And sometimes, the other person done went on about their business, but you still holding on to it. And I said, you know what? I'm just gonna let it go. Today is a new day.
Yes.
And I have a journey that I write in. And
Yes.
sometimes I just write about how I'm feeling. I don't write about what I got to do today, but I write out sometimes how I'm feeling. Well,
Yes.
today was a rough day, and this person made me feel like this and that. And then I
Yes.
said, well, Lord, I have to forgive them, and I'll put that person name down. And
Yes.
that has helped me with, learning how to forgive.
Yes. I love how you're strategic. You're sitting back and you're saying, this is what I need to do in order to feel better or to love on myself or to make myself feel whole and complete. These are the things that I must do. These are the things that I must change. This is, instead of, looking at yourself and saying, look, woe is me. Oh, I can't. It's more of, listen, these are the things that can help bring me up, keep me positive. And I
Yeah.
just encourage women to do the same. Journaling is a good thing, and it really kind of is a healing thing. It keeps us feeling like we got power, and healing is
Yeah.
taking place as we look at ourselves. I think journaling is kind of like looking at ourselves and seeing what's happening in real time.
Yes. Yes.
It really is. And so, forgiving ourselves is key. Taking that record in our head, that broken record of you ain't this, you ain't that, and moving it aside. Having a wonderful support system is key. Living a healthier life no matter what. Trouble don't last always. And, just hearing you talk about recovery. And at first, you told us how you went through this thing and you were laying on your back. Then we heard you say this, Angela, that you was taking steps toward walking again. Tell us what that feels like, taking steps toward walking.
Lost you. I had a phone call. What were you saying again? Repeat
Talking,
that.
you had told us about being on your back in the hospital, 30 days, coming home, uh, from that point to where you are now is amazing because you just told us a little while ago that you are taking steps now. You're
Yeah,
working
with the
rehabilitation. Tell us about that part.
oh, it is the hardest thing that I have ever done. I'm
Wow.
telling you, I have had some horrid things in my life, but this has been a challenge for
Yes.
me. You know, it's been a challenge. And like my pastor always tell me, he said, Robertson, it ain't gonna come easy now. You got to put in the work. So
Yes.
I am putting in the work now. And it's like, it's just like a baby. You know, you gotta, a baby sometimes have to crawl before they walk. You
Yes.
know, even though I'm not crawling, I'm in the wheelchair, but I have to learn how to walk all over again. And even though it's been almost 3 years now, it's like my body, I don't have that same body that I had before. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So it's like my body has to, rebuild its strength. I have to have that strength in my spine to be able to get up and to be able to even position to balance myself.
Yes.
So it's been hard, but I got my friend Sonata Lopez, she'll come, my sister, they'll come, my husband, he's already always there, and then Cam, he'll come and he'll be like, he tells me, he's like, Grandma, he said, now I want you to get on the walker and I just want you to let go, Grandma.
Oh,
He said, this
wow.
is what I want. He said, Grandma, this is what I want you to do. He said, I just want you to let go. And
Yes.
then it takes faith to do this thing. It takes faith, because the word of God says nothing shall be impossible to them that believe. See,
Yes.
I have to believe in my mind that I can do it. And I know I can do it.
Yes.
I know
Ooh.
I can do it. You know what I'm saying? I know that I can do it.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I'm doing it.
That's it.
I'm
That's
doing
what I'm
it.
saying. That's the
I'm doing
marvelous
it.
thing. You are doing
I'm
it,
doing
and
it.
we see it. I saw
Yes.
on social media you showing the how the therapy and things like that. I saw it like a robotics thing. Is that right? If they're using all kind of today things to get you to get those legs strong and moving.
Yes, it's a wonderful facility. It's at Old Dominion on the campus of ODU, and they have the like you say, the robotic stuff. They have everything that you can imagine. They have it at the facility, and I was blessed to get in there because when I first came home from the hospital, I tried to get in there and they kept saying, no, we don't have any open. We don't have any open. So I waited almost 2 years to get into this facility,
Wow.
but it wasn't my time. It was
Okay.
in God's timing. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go right there as soon as I got up from the hospital. And they were like, no, we're not taking any more patients. So
Absolutely.
the last time it was a divine moment that I was able to get in. And I have a wonderful therapist named Rebecca Raleigh. She's wonderful.
Oh, wow. That is
Wonderful.
absolutely
Wonderful. Yes.
wonderful. Talk about
Yes.
self-care, Angela, as far as financial, because in order for you to be able to get this care that you have, you must have had things in place. You must be the type of person that knows how to, kind of get things that you need, all the things that you need as far as benefits, insurance. When
Mhm.
it comes to taking care of yourself, talk to women and the audience about making sure you have those things. So just in case suddenly something happens, you got something there to continue your care.
Well, with me, I had on my job, I had took out long-term and short-term disability. So that was one thing that helped me when all of this happened. And then I had, insurance, of course. And then I had Natasha. And, Natasha basically handles all of my business.
Wow.
She is the business person of this. She
Wow.
makes sure that, co-payments, insurance, everything is in place, paperwork, I tell somebody, get you a Natasha because Natasha be on
Yes,
it for me. She
that
be
is
on it. Natasha
marvelous.
be on it. She be on it. Yeah. So it's very
That-
important, like when the job offers long-term and short-term disability, tap into that stuff.
yes.
I never thought that I was gonna be able, I never thought that I needed it, but I paid into it. I paid
Yes.
into it. And even though it wasn't what I was making, but it was something. It was
Absolutely.
enough, to keep my insurance and everything going,
Yes.
So like I say, I had Natasha, and I had a
Yes.
savings account. in order to, maintain my car payment, maintain my bills and everything. But I had me a Natasha. So I tell
Wow.
somebody, get you somebody that can handle your affairs. And
Absolutely.
the one that handled my affairs was my daughter, Natasha.
That is marvelous. This is part of self care,
Yes.
planning for, the suddenlies, or, making sure you're on it before things happen, making sure you have the insurance, and go after resources, because I tell you
Yes.
what, there are a lot of resources out here for women, Angela, all kinds.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because I didn't know that Old Dominion, they actually have grants. So if someone don't have insurance, you can also, apply for a grant so you can go to the facility to get the care that you need.
Oh, wow.
And they're treating people with prosthetics and everything,
Yes.
people that have MS, that you name it. This facility is caring for those needs.
Oh, wow. Absolutely. Look, you have shouted out some folk. Anybody else you want to shout out that's been a really essential part in your life as a whole, your recovery, uh, and,
Um,
and your future?
Well, I already shouted out my Pastor D.L. Wims and Lady P. And I want to shout out all my church family, because I mean, my church family, they take care of Angela Robeson. They take care of me.
Wow.
They take care of me. I'm in charge of hospitality, and God has placed me around a lovely group of women, and
Mhm.
they just take care of me. They
That
take
is
care of me.
marvelous. This is something
Yes.
that I tell you what, like you said, God has given you. He's put you in a place where you can get loved on, where you can continue to take care of yourself, where you can stay productive. And look, listen, this is not a small thing here, audience. Angela had gone through a lot, and she continues to keep her faith, and people are, helping her to, supporting her as she continues her journey. You all that are listening, I want you all to take this series serious and start loving on yourself a little bit more, taking care of yourself, ladies, physically, emotionally, mentally. We've been talking about that, and spiritually. Stop and say, wait a minute. These are some things. There are some things that I need to do in order to improve myself. You can have a better life. You can live the best of life in all kind of circumstances. I was listening to Venus and Serena one time, and they were talking about running, Angela, and they said, you know what? We run even in pain. We can run in pain. And so, no matter what we're going through, sometimes we can keep moving, we can keep going, we can keep enjoying life. It's hard sometimes, don't get it wrong. Angela's not saying that, hey, it's just a bowl of cherries all the time. It's challenges, but guess what? That spiritual life and the support system encourage her to fight for herself. This is a part of self care, continuing to fight for her. She's not giving up on her, no matter what the circumstances are. You have a commitment to yourself, Angela.
Absolutely. And I could not agree with you more, Miss Yolanda. And that is, everything you said is so true. Not giving up on self, not giving up
Absolutely.
on Angela.
Yes, whatever it takes to continue, because God wants us to live the best of life no matter what. And those suddenlies come. Don't get me wrong. Suddenly you may find yourself in a place that you've never been before. I remember when I was in a suddenly, and God just said, just hold on, just hold on. I remember when my husband got into this terrible accident on the job. And the first thing that was said to me, just hold on. And I
Mm.
knew from those words at the beginning, when I heard that I had to go to the hospital, was hold on, just hold on to me, and
Yes.
keep the faith. And God, just like you, Angela, just begin to have that support and the confidence, and just giving me the desire to just stay in there and fight for the family, fight for myself, and
Yes.
just be patient as things progress. Trouble don't last always. Eventually, you're gonna see some of this stuff behind you, baby. And
Yes.
just like
Yes.
you said, Angela, you're making progress toward things getting better, and little by little, step by step, you're going to find yourself in a different place.
Yes.
Yes, but the thing about it is your priority is to continue to take care of the physical, get your sleep. You getting good sleep? You getting good sleep, Angela?
Sometimes I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm up looking at TV, and then Natasha like, "You mom, you got therapy. You need to go to bed. You up there looking at them. You know what? You know what I like.
What?
And this is kind of offset. I like looking at the African movies.
Me too.
I,
Oh my
I
God, I
like the
love
African
them.
movie. And Tasha said, "You just sit up there and look at the movies all the time." I love the African movies. I love
Me
them.
too. I adore them. I look. It's not
Yes,
enough of them out there for me. I just really, it's just
yes,
beautiful. I tell
yes,
you.
yes,
But I am so glad that you can share with us. You're going to be sharing more with us on
yes.
this topic of self care. I'm just so glad that you are a part of it. Again, your faith, your wisdom, and your courage, just lets me know that you are ready to give to our women and our audience in general the things that God has done for you in your life and how you have continued to take care of yourself. We see great things for you, Angela, and we're glad that you're going to deposit some of those great nuggets into our people. We have so many people up here. I mean, on our social media pages. TikTok is just going off, saying hello and putting all kind of nice things up here.
You're welcome.
Also, we have what you call it, along with TikTok, we have, let's see. Oh, we have over here Instagram, Elder J. Here we have Mean Manika Shy. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sheila Robbins should be up here. All kind of folk up here to say hello and to encourage us with this segment. So we thank you for being
Thank
a
you.
part of it. We look forward to, talking more about self-love, self-care, and other things related to women's issues. And I'm just glad that you are a part of the team. Thank you so much, Angela.
Well, thank you. And if I could leave anybody with anything,
Yes.
I am a miracle. So if you've never seen a miracle before, you're looking at a miracle now.
Yes, absolutely. And we see it, we know it, we feel it, and we thank you for that. Look, the self esteem queen said, "Yes, you are a diva." And she said, "You are an incredible testimony. Thank you for sharing
Yes,
with
yes.
us." Um, oh, wow. And she just goes on to talk about, the things. How God wants our attention, and He will sit us down. And He will show up, and He will give us. We have the victory. We don't have to worry about waiting for the battle to end. We can shout now. We can praise God now because we know how the story ends.
Yes.
We know. So, Angela, thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of us. We look forward to seeing and talking with you again. You look fabulous. Continue to be positive. If there's anything that we can do for you or anything that can help, uh, we are here for you as well. And God
All
bless you.
righty. God
God
bless you.
bless
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
So, yeah, we are so thankful. Oh yes, some people were in here in our what you call it, TikTok had to say a few things to some folk in the audience. But I want to just shout out a few people. Intentional, hello. Invite Rick at Ross, hello. Three, hello. Pearlie Owens, hello. Uh, Somebody said you're beautiful. Thank you so much. I think it's I can't see the name real good. Um, uh, let's see, just so many folk here. And we want to thank you so much for joining us. You all are a blessing. I've got to go, but I want you to continue to Check us out. Sports Talk is going to be a part of our Monday show. Hopefully, we've got some FY After Dark shows coming up. Don't forget our women's series and our men's series. We got some things coming up with our men's series. And we are blessed to be able to come to you all. Self Esteem Queen, hello, all you all that are on. Thank you so much. We are just blessed to be here and be able to have a platform to reach so many folk. It's so many of you all up here. And we thank you. We're going to see you again soon. You all take care of yourself. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we'll see you back here on Monday. We want to say goodbye first to our TikTok audience. Man, you all definitely show up. You all show up so well for us, and I am so glad. So we're gonna see you all TikTok. We'll see you on Monday. Have a blessed.
Where I am now, I'm in a special place of tender warm embrace. Where I am
Right.
where I am now, I'm better than before. I'll hear those open doors. Where I am now, where I am now, I'm in a special place of tender warm embrace. Where I am now.
Elder J.